Hello there, boys and girls and children of all ages. Fat bastard wannabe Buddha coming at you today. Hopefully, I'm showing up on the camera in my far little left corner with my little Spider Jerusalem little tat. And what's this in the background? It's a former Nixonite. Is that Mr. Buchanan? Wow, he's still alive. That's. I remember the good old days of watching Crossfire when him and the other guy that was part of the CIA was brainwashing Americana. Wasn't those the good old days in the late 80s, early 90s when Ted Turner and the CIA was bringing us great brainwashing techniques of the future? Anyway, that's beside the point. Almost no one will get that reference. Here I go, boys and girls. Let's see what we got here.
Going from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think this is about the Pat Buchanan's recent article in which he says we should do away with the Civil Rights Bill because guess what? We no longer blank dogs in the street. Oh, that's a joke that you'll get it at the end. When I tell it at the end, you'll get it then. But anyway, let's go back to see what Pat has to say.
Here, the point is everybody is claiming victim status. But
he's right about that. I mean, even Mr. Perkins, the little hedge fund guy that was a billionaire, thought he was a part of the oppressed minority, that was going to be rounded up and herded into the streets or cattle cards or, something horrific was going to happen to the 1%. Probably will, but not in my lifetime. Sadly, I lived to see the day capitalism collapsed, and sorry, it has collapsed, folks. I lived to see that. But I won't get to see the night of the long knives, and when all those little poor little rich people get their just desserts. And I'm sorry.
The truth is, there is no doubt there was rampant discrimination against Black Americans in education, in housing, and in public accommodations, and in voting. But that's what I said in my column. Look, when you got more Black officials elected Black officials in the state of Mississippi than any state in the Union, we don't have the same situation we had at Selma Bridge.
Actually, we technically do. The level of poverty and opportunity for Blacks and Hispanics or other minorities that are not part of the in crowd is almost unchanged and actually has been decreasing drastically during the most recent economic upheaval. Blacks and Hispanic lost more ground than almost any other group of individuals. There's been a concerted effort to basically sing one little dog whistle after another in order to get all the poor white folks, and as opposed to looking up to the guy with their boot on his throat, to look at the other poor schmo in the hole digging the ditch with him, like Blacks and Hispanics. And Pat Buchanan's campaign is all part of this. This whole thing right here is just basically a giant dog whistle for a certain group of people saying, yeah, they got as many representatives and more rights. They got a Black man in the White House. Well, it doesn't mean. Goldman Sachs is in the White House. J.P. Morgan is in the White House. Wells Fargo is in the White House. There's not a Black man in the White House. Sorry, Obama's not really there. There's no there. He's an empty suit. He reads a teleprompter once in a while, and he votes and puts bills in the legislation forward that the deep state wants. The machine that grinds on eternally, whether it's George Bush in office or Obama or Hillary. It doesn't matter. That machine is going to grind on and on and on till we stop it. But anyway, let's get back to what Pat says. I'm rambling. I'm a little depressed today, just a little. I'm poor.
And it is time to move on.
Time to move on.
Quite frankly, some of these civil rights laws, in my judgment, once the job that they were passed to do has been done, the reason they are continuing is because it is this gigantic bureaucratic empire that has been built up and erected to sit on top of all of us and oversee and police and monitor every decision we make in our corporate or personal lives.
And why would they do that, Pat? Why would they have to continually monitor and look and make sure you're not blanking the pooch? We got laws on the books that says you can't screw a dead dog. You know, the odds of people screwing a dead dog are very very minuscule, very small, frighteningly small. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but there's still laws on the books. I mean, there's even laws on the books that say you can't even screw a dead dog. You know, but every once in a while we still have to enforce one of those laws because some cracker screws a dead dog. I'm sorry. Even if we reached the mountaintop that Martin Luther King wanted us to get there, if we got there to the summit in which everybody truly loved one another and they got along and everybody respected one another, irregardless of race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or whether or not they were chubby. I know I long for the day when they will no longer hate us chubby folks. But if they get to that day in which everybody was loved equally, it would still be a good idea to have laws on the books just in case some stupid cracker wants to screw a dog. Just in case, folks. Anyway, that's basically a little dog whistle for a large group of individuals who feel like they're an oppressed minority now. They are being oppressed, but how they're being oppressed is by and large by the 1% who's grinding them into the dirt and basically deindustrialized the nation and financialized the economy overall and outsourced any of their manufacturing jobs and did away with any of their small agricultural jobs and the little rural areas of white culture is being destroyed and obliterated. But those crackers are too stupid to actually try to figure that out for themselves. So they got people like Pat Buchanan to send them out there with a convenient dog whistle, and they start barking like little dogs. They're getting blanked and screwed 7 ways from Sundays. That's why we should have. Hope to talk to you later, man. Bye bye. Fat Bachelor wanna be Buddha. Okay.